Flying off the handle. Hello my friends, it is time for another video where I go over my thoughts on the latest wave of Mario Kart 8 DLC. Yes, that's true. It is the most wildly successful series of videos on my channel so far. Not really. Last one did fine. Didn't do as well as the others though, so I'm still feeling this out. This video doesn't get enough views. I might just cancel the whole thing. I might just delete them all. You never know. I'm not gonna do that. You're already watching. You don't need me to get on your case about it. You already did your part. When they first announced this DLC, we did not know that we were gonna get any original tracks, and we have, and that's been a really great surprise. And then another new surprise, Birdo, returning character, super cool. Here's the thing though, in the latest episode of Spicy Take Salad, I went on this big, huge thing talking about the person who said that Birdo was more exciting than all of the Tears of the Kingdom stuff. When I recorded that, I had not yet heard the news that Birdo was returning, and that meant that we were also gonna get other returning characters. I get that now. I am embarrassed. I am ashamed. I hope you're all happy. Now that I have the full context, I know that I've made a grand fool of myself, and I simply must try my best to move on with my life. So we got 8 new tracks to talk about here, and let's do that thing that I just said and talk about them. Start with Amsterdam Drift, and as always, I'm not super into the real-world city ones. They just don't usually wow me. However, there are a few exceptions, and I would say that this one is indeed one of those standouts. It's still not like super-duper terrific, but among these kinds of tracks, I would say it's got a lot going for it. It's really just about the variety. You don't really just feel like you're driving through a city the entire time on the first lap. You know, you go through kind of a farm with like rolling hills and windmills. That's just a nice thing. Very big change up from just the big city feel. And then you go through like underwater channel through the city, which is also really cool. And then you've got flowery fields. It's pretty. It changes up in significant ways, not just in little tiny slight ways. And I appreciate that. Next, Riverside Park. All you gotta do is glance at this one, and you know this is an Arlo track right here. What is it? What do I always talk about? It's the trees. I love trees and nature and rocks and things. This one, the whole thing, it's dusk, so the light is a little bit low, like golden light everywhere. There's a river winding through it. You got bridges going over the river. You got trees with cool roots. Some of them are like kind of standing up. It's really neato. You got one part where you go through a cave. I always love a cave. And this one's got a really cool, like, nice, like, shiny, muddy floor. It's a very nice detail. Waterfalls all over the place. And then mechanically, you've got these piranha plants, but they're the kind that, like, walk on their tiptoe leaves, and they got items blowing above them, so if you hit them with a shell or something, then you get the item. It's cute, it's simple, but it's a really cute little thing. The track is very short, which is always disappointing when I really love the visual look of a track, but it's okay, because it looks great. It's just, again, it's a very Arlo track. It's just pretty, it's trees, it's dusk. That's my thing. Next up, DK Summit. This one is cute. You know, the whole thing is very snowboard themed. And there are multiple Mario Kart tracks out there where it's, you know, it's like a snowboarding thing where you're going down a mountain like skiing or whatever. But this one has a lot of nice little details that really kind of zero in on that theme. I love how at the beginning you go through that little thing and then it blasts you up to the mountain, and then you get to like fly over the track, so you get to kind of see a little preview of it before you go, and then you land right at the top and start going down. I just think that's a really cute little detail. You got lots of fun variety in your obstacles and little bumpy hills and things like that. But then really big stretches of the course have this, you know, the snowboardy half pipe kind of thing. And I like it especially because, you know, there's one section where there are like snow drifts, so you kind of have to go around them. It basically forces you to use the half pipe, because there are parts where you don't really have to use the half pipe. You can kind of just drift around. But in this case, you're basically forced to use it like a snowboarder would, you know, up one side, up the other side, and I don't know, it makes the level very, very fun. Gives it a very fun dynamic, makes it feel very authentic. And it's got snowboarding Shy Guys, so there you go, best level ever. And then you got the cream of the crop, the highlight of this entire wave. You know, each one has basically had one fresh new track, and this one is based on Yoshi's Island. I love Yoshi's Island, one of the best platformers of all time. I love it, and I especially love the visual style. So this is very much a treat. Everything is themed after Yoshi's Island. The coins got Yoshi heads on them. The sound effects come from Yoshi's Island. Even like at the end, you have like the goal thing that you run through if you go on the secret path, and you've got the victory music is different. It's so cute. And then just visually, there's so much to take in. I had to run through it like a bunch of times just to get it all in. You're going through these little chunks that represent different worlds in Yoshi's Island, different types of levels. It's so cool. Within this relatively short track, you basically sample the entire game. You know, you're going the underground stuff, and there's the castle up in the sky. It's terrific. Really is like a theme park ride. You know, you look over and you're like, oh, it's Poochie up on the mailbox. Oh, you got like Chomps bouncing around in the background. And then my favorite, the giant goop thing. I such a bad memory. I don't know the names. The big goop thing on the box art, really, really massive, way in the background. And I love that. I love big elements. I love the way this thing looks. Super cool. So this level, not as much mechanically. It's fine mechanically, but mostly just visually. Easily one of my favorite tracks in the entire game, including the DLC and the base game. It's just lovely. It's such a wonderful representation of Yoshi's Island. I love it. I mean, come on, you've even got a part. You've got a secret part where you got to hit the cloud with the question mark and the wings, and it's actually really hard to hit it. I had to try many, many times to get it right. And when you do, it opens up a special little path that gives you a little bit of a shortcut. What a cool idea. Super cool. If anything, I wish there were more of those throughout the level. It's such a neat concept. I'd love to see it play with more, you know? It's the secret path, but you gotta hit the thing exactly, just like in Yoshi's Island. It's cool. Then the next Grand Prix starts with Bangkok Rush. Here we have another city one, and this one, unfortunately, does not really stand out. I like right at the beginning where you're in the kind of watery channel and there's just enough water for boats to float on it, but like it's shallow enough that you're not actually underwater. I think that's really cool. But then that's gone, and there's like fun little details, you know, the part where you're like bouncing on the canopies, you got like the little car tunnel. Overall, not super exciting. I will say though, it does make up for it a lot by just being really pretty, just having a lot of really nice background visuals. Some of the city tracks are a little bit more plain. This one at least just looks pretty, just the background, it's varied, tons of different kinds of buildings to look at, very colorful. So, I mean, you know, that's good at least. Then you got Mario Circuit, which is definitely one of those, like, I don't remember which game it's from, but a very, like, early game, simple kind of level. It's a little bit disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's got some nice stuff. I like that it's fire piranha plants. Or what other tracks have the fire ones in them? It's just weird to see it, but it, you know, puckers up its lips and shoots fire at you. Weird. You got the little part with the trees where the sun rays are coming down through. It's very short, but you know, it's pretty while it lasts. I do really like when you're going around the one corner and you get like the big wide shot of Peach's castle. It's another thing that's behind you in just a second, but just in that one moment, it's really nice looking. It's incredibly colorful. That image just like, it really pops, so I really appreciate that. Overall though, it's just kind of okay. You know, it's a really basic kind of track. It's kind of a beginner track, I guess. I don't know. It's all right. Next, Waluigi Stadium. I'm not 100% sure. As always, I'll remind you, I've not played a load of Mario Kart. I did a lot as a kid, but I'm not up on what tracks are the best, and I want to say this is one that people were really hoping for. This might be a fan favorite. I'm not sure. I wasn't super impressed with it. It does have some elements that I like. I like the very super duper muddy dirt track. Pretty much the whole way through is really just a nice little element. I like the mechanized piranha plants. You know, you get real piranha plants in so many different tracks, just so many, and here you get like, I don't know, just kind of fun, like fake ones that pop out. It's cute. I like the look of the fireballs. They look nice. I'm just trying to find stuff to point out. Otherwise, it's kind of basic. It's fine. It's good. I call it like a medium tier track. Nothing to write home about, but not bad. And finally, we have Singapore Speedway. Usually we have 2 real city tracks in each of these waves. This time we have 3, which is disappointing. However, it is made better by the fact that this, to me, is another standout. So we had more than usual, but they were a little bit better than usual, kinda. This one is really just so good because it doesn't really play like a real city track. It plays like a regular Mario track, you know? There's like loads and loads of verticality right at the start. You boost way up on top of a huge building and you're on these like a, you know, top of the building pools looks really cool. You really just spend the whole time just kind of flying around rooftops and floating, and I don't know, just, yeah, it's very vertical. It's very dynamic. There's even huge sections of just these above ground tracks, and it just kind of feels like a regular Mario Kart track. And it is also, like the other one, very visually grand. There's just, some of the other ones, there's just too many parts where you're just kind of skirting around buildings like a car, and that's it. But like this one, you're flying all over, and everywhere you look, there are just different buildings and different sites. And again, the color is just remarkable. So yeah, it's another one that really stands out from the city track, because there's a lot to do, and it just looks so good. It just looks so grand, so spectacular everywhere you look. So that's, again, very nice. And that is all of them. I will say I am slightly disappointed. I would say this is easily the weakest wave of the bunch so far. And it's really, like, overall, it's really not that disappointing. They can't all be the best winners ever. I think I'm only so tuned in to, like, which waves are better than the others because they've been so ridiculously strong, and it felt like they were just getting better and better, and each one just kept one-upping and just surprising me all over again. So now to have it kind of like, okay, well, they couldn't keep that up forever. This was finally the one where it was just like, fine, pretty good. It was inevitable, but there's that little tiny element that's like, shucks. Still good though, absolutely can't complain. And as always, this wave just gives us 8 more tracks. Just 8 more tracks, just heap onto the pile. There's so many tracks now, I barely even value them anymore, I feel like a rich person who's made so much money. Money doesn't even mean anything to me anymore. Yeah, just throw it on the pile, stick it in the bank, throw these 8 tracks on top of the other 900,000 tracks we already have. No, as always, like, track variety is so cool. All the tracks we can get, even the simplistic ones, doesn't matter. You add in more. Then when you're racing with your friends, there you go. More variety, more to do, more to change up the experience. Always appreciated. So yeah, let me know what you think about these tracks down in the comments. Is it just me, or are they coming so fast? I just, like, I feel like every single time there's a new one, I feel like they're spaced totally normally. I guess the months just go by so fast, but I don't know, I finish one video, and then I turn around, and it's already like, oh yeah, next wave coming out tomorrow. Really, this one really snuck up on me. That said, goodbye.